Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Wednesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. As we come to you live from the Kingmakers studio, and that is most definitely not Tim Ham in the shot. That is intern Emily, who will be joining me today while Tim is on a flight to Columbus. Hopefully not consuming as many Jägermeister shots as he does on the show, or he may not make it to Columbus. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Good morning, JP. I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for stopping in and filling in for Timmy.
You're welcome.
Certainly bring some class to the show, so we appreciate that.
No, they're big shoes to fill. I'm honored to be here and really excited to be in your new studio. This is
How
the
do you
first
like
time
it?
I've joined.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah. We've got and then we got the golf simulator right outside.
Yep.
We've got the bar and the sports watching area over here. There's all kinds of fun stuff
All
here.
kinds of stuff. We should hang out here on a game day.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have all the Petermans in and have everybody come on over.
Perfect.
We even got a grill that we can slide outside.
Ooh.
To grill up some stuff. Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to be outstanding.
Can't have a game day without a grill.
Absolutely. So we'll talk a little FSU football, which obviously you cover FSU and have been for quite some time. Intern Danny is here as well. We have him in the penalty box over there right behind us. We'll be chiming in with all the numbers as well. And we invite your comments here as we roll through a couple hours. Scott Reynolds is going to join us as well today from the Pewter Report. So we'll chat to Scotty about all things Buccaneers as they head up to Pittsburgh to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, who are very much an unknown this year. That's a team. First of all, with Mike Tomlin as the head coach, they're not going to be bad. He's never had a losing season. And they could, with all the veterans that they've added and talent, they could be really good. But I just look at the way Rodgers is moving in practice, and I've seen some clips, and it's just practice. He probably doesn't give a rat's ass anyway. He just looks old. I think it could get ugly for him. I don't know. But Steelers know what they're doing. But it'll be interesting to see the two teams work out tomorrow. They'll be working out. So that'll be the joint practices tomorrow. Today they'll be working out on their own. Another practice at another site, a local college. So if we get any updates on that, we'll give them to you. Adam Slavon from Pewter Report will join us tomorrow. He's up there for Pewter Report, so he's going to stop by tomorrow. And we'll get some updates from him on what's going on for the Buccaneers. And we'll talk a little bit. We talked about this yesterday. Jason Light did a long form interview for The Athletic. Dan Pompei wrote it. Great piece in The Athletic. If you want to subscribe, it's definitely worth the $4. I'm going to subscribe, but they have a great group of writers over there. And Pompei is one of the better ones. And he wrote a very, very extensive piece on Jason Light, and it's extremely enjoyable. A lot of information in there that I didn't know, kind of recounting what Jason has done here in Tampa Bay and kind of his learning curve along the way. When he was on the show a month back, we talked a lot about that. And Dan goes into even more depth. We talked about the Devin White quote yesterday because it was fresh news yesterday. And just a quick recap on that, having covered Devin the whole time. And when he came in, it was, I never liked the pick to begin with. And this is like first guessing. I was a Josh Allen guy, wanted to take an edge rusher, inside linebackers at number 5. But there's no denying the fact that Devin White kicked ass his first year or two, and he helped them win a Super Bowl. And I don't know if they win a Super Bowl without him, quite frankly, although if you had another edge rusher, although they had JPP and Shaq at the time, so they were good. I don't know if you win a Super Bowl. I don't know. But what transpired after that was not great. Devin became kind of a malcontent, thought he was better than he was, never really played within the confines of the defense, was always freelancing, trying to make big plays, and that cost the Bucs. And once teams learned that he was undisciplined, they picked on him in key situations, goal line situations, third down situations, and that loses you games. And as I said yesterday, I think probably the biggest part was that the Bucs held on to him for too long. And if Todd Bowles has faults, I think it's sometimes he can be too loyal to coaches and to players. That's a strength of his as well, but it can also be a weakness. And I think in this case, it was a weakness with Devin White. and supporting him all the time. And it just, when we all knew that he just wasn't playing good football and he was freelancing, and those were issues. And the Bucs held on to him and hoping that he would turn it around, that the culture around him would help turn it around. But then there were incidents of him talking to other guys and telling them, they're not going to pay me. They're not going to pay you. No, they're not going to pay you because you're not worth it. You're not worth $100 million. And that became a problem. So it's a very interesting article. I highly recommend. It's funny because Deshaun Jackson was also talked about in that article, and I was never for bringing in Deshaun Jackson. And I'd always thought that it was not that he's a really bad dude, because I don't think he is. He's a good guy, and Fitz loved him. But the mix with Jameis was not great, because Jameis, Emily, as you know Jameis, he's a people pleaser. He wants to please everybody. And when Deshaun came in, he wanted to please Deshaun, and Deshaun wanted the ball all the freaking time. And you can't play football that way. The ball goes to the guy that the defense picks, where the defense is weakest, not because I'm going to squawk a lot and I want my numbers and you better force me the ball. That's what it became. And then Deshaun, didn't like Jameis because, for whatever reason, and loved Fitz because Fitz would throw him the ball. And then that became a whole, thing that divided the team. But players like Deshaun Jackson do that. Players like Emeka Egbuka don't. And that's why the Bucs draft those players now, and they don't draft or bring in players like Deshaun Jackson. So it's a very interesting article that kind of goes inside Jason Light's head and where he came from and how he got here, and the great success story that is Jason Light. As we talked about yesterday, most general managers do not survive. What was he, 27-56 to start his career? That's a fireable offense. But the Buccaneers and the Glazers in particular saw something in Jason that was authentic and genuine, and a guy that learned along the route. And so many general managers are just my way, the highway. If I make a mistake, I'm not going to admit it. I'm going to try to, make this guy great. And it just kills the team. When Jason made a mistake, like the kicker, I'm trying to remember, Aguayo, another FSU guy, Roberto, you're gone, and most GMs don't do that, and it hurts the team. But, and I think they saw that in Jason and wanted to give him another shot. And then, his relationships with Bruce Arians got him here, and relationships are the reason why Jason Light has been so successful. He builds great relationships with players, like Mike Evans, and he uses his wife to do it too, which I think is a really good tactic, because you befriend the wives, and Mike Evans doesn't want to leave here, and nobody wants to leave here. Baker Mayfield, nobody wants to leave here. It's a great, and I say that in jest. It's not a tactic. It's just who they are. It's just who they are. They build relationships with people, and that's important. And so the success story is what it is now, because Jason Light has built one of the best rosters in football. The relationship that he had with Bruce Arians made him come back from coaching, which brought in Tom Brady, which brought in a Super Bowl. So it all kind of comes full circle. But I think it's a fascinating article and takes you inside, Jason Light, and who's basically been the architect of this team that is now poised to win another Super Bowl. So, and at some point, we'll be drafting some more Florida State players.
Hopefully.
When we get better.
Fingers crossed.
No, Jared Verse would have looked nice in a Buccaneers uniform. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's true. I really like him and Fist together, though.
Yeah.
I just hope he's okay.
Yeah, he got hurt, didn't he? Does it look bad?
Him and Fisk actually collided knees. So that's not great news.
Knoll on knoll crime?
Knoll on knoll crime. Yep.
That's not good.
We're just fingers crossed. Everything.
It's not good.
Yes. No.
All right. So the Rays lose again last night. Was it 5-0, Danny? I got glazed over one of the strikeouts of Jacob Lopez, who used to be, and traded him and Jeffrey Springs to the A's. And we got back Boyle and basically Baker, the compensatory pick we used for Baker. Is it Boyle got to pan out, obviously, but Jacob Lopez now has 24 second scorings and pitched 7 shutout last night. Anemic once again. Christopher Morel, another 2 strikeouts against the lefty, the Nabs use. And defensively last night, they were not good. They let a pop drop that cost them a run, which I'll put on Junior Caminero or maybe Yandy. So a pop play when the wind's blowing back into the infield, that's not catchable. It's got to be a infielder to put that. The pitcher's not going to get it. We're too slow to react, and that's your run. You can't do that with 2 outs. That's just not bad baseball. Simpson gets picked off again. He's got to just, he's young. He's learning how to be going to learn the nuance. That's and another wild pitch last night that scored as he could have covered the plate and maybe had a play at the plate, but was very slow to react. And, Shane Baz he's a I mean, he's got such great stuff. I mean, the knuckle curveball, the fastball at 99, 100 he hit last night. And he can spot it. The stuff is unhittable at times. And then he'll just throw a freaking meatball slider over the middle of the plate, and it just gets whacked into center field or out of the park. And he ends up giving up 5 runs, which I would say 3 of them were on him. And he's now 8-9 with a 4.93 ERA on the year, which is meh. It's meh. And with the stuff he has, he just has to be better. And I don't know. I don't know about the long-term deal for him, but it's not good. It's not good. Devin Garnett says our stream is lagging. Is lagging? Our stream is lagging. I'm not sure why. I think we got a lot of people using the Wi-Fi today, so maybe we'll do a switch in the break. How bad is it? Is it really bad? It's It's meh. It's kind of like the Rays offense. It's meh. Okay. Well, I don't want to switch midstream, so we might have to take a quick break here, and we'll come back on the other side. Emily's going to do 5 questions for JP today, so stand by for that. Let me get to some of the comments here real quick. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott, and all the degenerates. It's not the degenerates out there. It's the Petermans, Nathan. Get it right. Nathan says Devin White wanted to be a big name and wanted to be a Micah Parsons general and hitman on the field. He did not do the film study and showed up on game day. Yeah, and that's the Get Live 45. It is what it is. And he was never like a bad guy. And, he wasn't a guy that was, getting arrested and all that stuff. He was never one of those dudes. He just wasn't part of the team. He just it was kind of a me guy, and they could never get him to be that part of, we talk about this all the time. The camaraderie on this team, the chemistry on this team, it's something that's really, really special. And if you're not part of it, you stand out. You stand out. And he did. And it's not going to work. And I think they took too long to get rid of him, but who cares? At this point, he's somebody else's problem. And the Bucs have a really, really good football team. We'll see how they do this year. And I think it's going to be a very good year. One other note, Amalie Arena this morning they're having a big press conference over at Amalie this morning. Ken Hagan's over there. The mayor, Jane Castor, is there. The new owner is there. Steve Griggs, the president, is there. So I don't have any inside information on this, but I think they're going to announce some new premium seating areas, the new renovations to Amalie Arena. I think it's like $25-30 million in new renovations. Now, before you guys go bananas and then they're not going to get a Rays stadium done. No, this has all been planned out ahead of time. It's over a bunch of years. There's still plenty of money for the Rays, plenty of money for the Bucs. This whole idea that Hillsborough County, one of the biggest counties in Florida and in the United States, doesn't have any money. And it's not just Hillsborough County. The owners are putting in money. The Rays are putting in money. The new owners, all that stuff is going to be taken care of, folks. So don't worry. But this is all part of keeping Amalie Arena as one of the top arenas in the world. It's one of the busiest arenas in the world. There may be a new name on the arena. Could be. I don't know. Don't want to speculate. Well, actually, I do want to speculate. Don't know. Don't know who it might be, but we will find out at 11 o'clock, and we'll give you an update on it when it happens. All right. Is the stream better? Stream is better? Okay. All right. So we'll just move forward. Devin Garnett says, can you please explain why the Rays are carrying 6 outfielders right now? I don't understand that myself, Devin. I wish I could give you an answer on that. And Tristan Peters is back. Our Savannah Banana is back. So, and I don't understand. I don't know what he brings to the club unless he's going to start dancing in center field. I have no idea. So it's a very good question. And there's some players down at Durham that we would really like to see come up. Maybe Carson Williams, the shortstop. And I know he strikes out a lot, but at some point, with September call-ups coming up, maybe we'll see some of those guys. But right now, I don't get it. Rick is in this morning. It says, I accidentally listened to DAE yesterday. They actually said the Rays are going to make a strong push in September for the playoffs. Back away from the pipe and Stu's ass, says Rick. This team even knows they're done. I don't know what you're looking at. If you think that this team has some option, I don't know. What do you see that tells you that the Rays are going to make a run? The explosive offense they've been displaying in recent days? That Sterling starting pitching we've seen so much of? Has pitched to a 5.3 ERA since their June run. Maybe it's the excellent bullpen that we've seen recently. I mean, maybe it's the fact that Shane McClanahan's come. Oh, no, he's not coming back. What would lead you to believe that this team has any gas left in the tank? I got nothing. But, yeah. David Terry says it's going to be the Advent Health Arena. Okay. Now, Rick has a much better idea, the Peterman Arena. Yeah, I like that. That has a ring to it. Don't you think? I think it has a ring to it. All right, we're going to do some college football here as well. Now, Emily, I told you, gave you a little homework assignment to give me a little update. Pat Burnham's going to join us at 11:15. We'll talk some more Knowles. You covered the team for many, many years, still do. Your thoughts on this iteration of FSU football? Obviously, after last season, everybody, I feel weird even making any predictions whatsoever after what happened last year.
Well, I told myself I was going to tune out everything. I wasn't going to look at Twitter. I wasn't going to do anything just because of last year. And of course, I didn't do that. I've deep dived on Twitter and everything. I think the biggest thing right now, of course, is Conrad Hussey being dismissed. And I think that shows you Tony White is not here to play.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that you can do, obviously, is dismiss a player and to show that you mean business. And I think that's huge. I'm not sure. There really hasn't been much put out about why he was dismissed. I know Mike Norvell is going to talk to the media later today. So very interested to see what he says about that situation. But he just wasn't performing. He wasn't performing to the level that Florida State wants to see. And I think it's great. I think it's a really good thing that he was dismissed. I think it was Monday earlier this week.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. You know, there was a clip and I shared it on Twitter from Tony White talking about, you know, he's been very vocal about this camp that there are some guys that are playing hard and sticking their nose in and being physical, but there are too many that are not. And I think and if you go and watch, and I watched number 12 all last year, and I threw stuff at the TV because he played like such a wussy. Since you're in here today, I'll use the W part of that word.
Thank you.
And it was both the safeties, Shaheem Brown, nobody played physical in that secondary. Nobody came up to hit anybody. And it was embarrassing at times how these guys would run away from contact. And so when I saw that Hussey was released, I was like, good. And I don't want to get personal on the kid. I don't know the kid whatsoever. And I'm not trying to blame everything on him. And that's certainly not what I'm doing. There's plenty of blame to go around. A lot of it was with the coaches from last year. So, you know, more, I think the coaches failed this team more than anything last year, the adults, but because they didn't hold them accountable. And this is a new coach, defensive coordinator, Tony White, who's coming in saying, I'm not putting up with it. If you don't want to play, you're not going to be here. You're not going to play, and you're probably not even going to be on this team. And I don't know how he reacted to the coaching, and maybe that's probably why he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't think the coaches are looking to make an example out of somebody just to make an example and kick him off.
No, definitely not.
I would guess that he probably just wasn't responding well to the coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe there was an incident. I don't know. We'll find out later today, maybe with Norvell, or maybe Pat has some information on that. But whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
if it is a great sign, and I think it is an accountability sign that needed to be made. And you've got to weed out these guys that just don't play up to the standard, or don't want to play up to the standard.
You do.
Yeah.
And there's also the concern, of course, watching last year's team and this year's team, the little that we have seen of them, there's not a lot of depth, right? At the safety position, cornerback, just kind of that whole room. It's not really what we want it to be. So seeing a player leave obviously is not a good thing. So I'm really curious to see what they do there, and if somebody else steps up, because I don't really know who else we're talking about at this point that's going to be performing well there.
Well, you know what? It's been my experience that guys step up. When given an opportunity, guys step up, whether they're 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. And a lot of times it's the 2 or 3-star guys that are overlooked because maybe they're not fast enough or they're not big enough. And, you know, college is a lot about measurables. Coaches really look at those things and try to mold players, and they miss out on good players who maybe aren't as fast, that have great instincts, great ball skills, and are just better players, and they'll stick their nose in there. And so I think this is a great opportunity for somebody like that to step up. And I think we'll be surprised at what we find out. And, you know, and this is what coaching is all about. This is what good coaching is all about. Good coaches find those guys, they hold them accountable, and they get the guys in there that can play. And if you can't play, they get them the hell out of there. And that's something we did not see last year, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, it's just at some point you're like, we got to try something different. I don't know if it's going to be any better. Offensive line, whatever it is, get somebody in there who wants to play, because too often there were guys that did not want to play. So any other thoughts on FSU football?
I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more later, but I guess just talking about that quarterback role and Tommy Castellanos this year, I'm really excited about him. And I think for me, initially when, you know, it was announced he's coming to Florida State, I hadn't seen much of him. He did well at Boston College, but that's also not saying
relatively speaking,
you know,
yeah.
No offense to, you know, their program and everything, but it's Florida State, and I want somebody that's going to be able to throw the ball, run the ball, and do everything. And Tommy, he's got the attitude as well, in addition to those physical assets. Earlier in the summer, he was, you know, talking a little smack to Alabama.
I wasn't pleased about that.
No, I wasn't pleased either. But I also think if that's something that's going to rile your teammates up, that's something we never saw out of DJU. And I think if you've got the confidence, and if you think that is going to ignite some kind of fire in your team, and that's why you did it, then I'm all for it.
I hadn't heard it put that way, but I like that, because you're exactly right. This team lacked leadership last year. They lacked any fire at the quarterback position whatsoever. So yeah, I didn't like the choice of words, but all right, it's better than, I guess, being cocky is better than being wishy-washy or have no leadership skills whatsoever, which is what we saw from DJU.
I'm hoping that's why it was, but you know, it could have been cockiness, but I'm thinking in my heart that was to rile up his teammates, and that's what I'm going with.
Maybe he felt like there was not a lot of emotion, and they were looking for a leadership, and they were looking for a spark. Yeah. If that's what it takes, then I'm good with it. I'm good with it. He's got to back it up, though. He better back it up.
We will see.
Listen, I've said, and I've heard reports, and we'll hear more from Pat in our second hour, that he hasn't looked great. And I've heard the Sperry kid has stepped up, which I like to hear, because that kid is a legitimate talent. I think he's a 4-star recruit, has done really well at some of the Elite 11 camps and all that stuff, all that recruiting stuff. And that's, you know, Castellanos is not that guy. He's a runner. He's a marginal passer. But in Gus Malzahn's offense, you don't have to be a great passer. You have to be a really good runner. And he is that, and he can be effective in that role. And I trust Gus Malzahn will find a guy that can move. They'll score points. They'll score points. And it ain't going to be like last year. So,
I have really been working on some receivers, and they were catching them. And it was like, ooh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We might have both.
That would be nice.
We'll see.
That would be nice. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Scott Reynolds is going to join us from the Pewter Report, and we'll kind of wrap up training camp and look forward to what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week and the joint workouts. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. They will give you a free case evaluation, so just go to the website and reach out to them, JeevesLawGroup.com, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They know the local landscape. That matters, folks, when it comes to your case. So get your free case evaluation at JeevesLawGroup.com. And by OnSiteConstructionFL.com. They are the folks that will restore your home. They will add on to your home. They will do some great stuff inside and outside. Just go to the website, OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Look at some of the great photos they have of their work. Read all the 5-star reviews. And remember, Jason Fawcett, the owner, will come over and do a free evaluation at your home. And you can meet your contractor, and you will know if a hurricane comes or you need some work done at your house. You know who your contractor is. You trust them. You know who they are. They've been here for over 20 years and done over 1,400 jobs in the area. That's OnSiteConstructionFL.com. All right, Scott Reynolds coming up next. Stay with us. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Wednesday, as we're going to be talking a little bit of Bucks with Scott Reynolds. Just want to remind you that Riveters is the place to go, the official sports bar and grill for your JP Peterson Show. We'll be having some watch parties there this year. Also, it is the official Gator Sports Bar for watch parties. So Emily is like, don't scrunch your nose up. They're people too, and they spend money at Riveters, and we like that. But you can also watch FSU games there. You can watch any games there, Bucks games, all kinds of. They have all the TVs and all the different packages. UFC is always free there, by the way. I guess it's always free now anyway. Now they're there with Paramount. But they're always a great place to hang out at Riveters. So check it out. The great food, the great staff, the great everything at Riveters right there on Dale Mabry, just south of the stadiums right there. We say stadiums now because that's where the race play. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. What's up, Scotty? How are you?
Good. Just munching on a protein bar, waiting for you.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
You didn't want to go to Pittsburgh and Permani Brothers and have a sandwich that's bigger than your face?
Yeah.
Been there,
it's raining there today, so
is it?
I prefer Florida. Yeah, it is.
How's it going to practice? Did they even get out?
Supposed to start, I think, within the hour, but it's raining. They're practicing at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, and then tomorrow they'll be practicing at the stadium with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we have Adam Slovan and Matt Matera up there covering all the action for Pewter Report. So we'll have a Bucks Camp insider story on pewterreport.com today, and they'll be doing a podcast at 4:00 live.
Nice. I will be listening. Yeah, I will be listening for sure. Absolutely. And Sly's going to join us on the show tomorrow. So thank you.
There we go.
And thank you for all your coverage and traveling with the team. That's big time. You guys are big time.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us.
It was more fun last year in Jacksonville, I think. We drove up to Jacksonville, rented a house for a week, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had some shenanigans in addition to our coverage.
Was there shenanigans?
We had some shenanigans, yeah.
Jacksonville used to be a really kind of fun place. Do you remember the old Jack's Landing when they had Hooters there? That was the play.
We went to Amelia Island. We went to Amelia Island.
There you go.
We went to a cigar bar out there, and they've got a really cool like downtown area. My mother-in-law lives in Amelia Island, so there's really not much to do in Jacksonville. It's not a very.
I know that, but Amelia Island is the spot. I love it.
It's
up
very
there.
Cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Smart. Jack's Beach is pretty cool.
Hidden gem up there in along the coast in Jacksonville.
I know you're not a golfer, but they have some.
I am in my head. Yeah. In my head, I am a golfer, but my body doesn't cooperate.
So what you're saying is, when the trips are good and you know where to go, you go. And when it's Pittsburgh in the summer, you're like, I'm good. Go ahead, Sly. Right. Go ahead,
exactly.
Maddie.
Yep.
And this is what you get. A rain-filled day
is what I'm doing, JP. I'm pulling rank. So, yeah.
We have those who can do, as I like to remind people on Twitter all the time. Those who can do. And that's exactly what you did. Well played. All right. So I'm sure you read the article from Dan Pompei yesterday in The Athletic. That was a really good job by Jason Licht.
Very much so.
I think I know what jumped out at you, but I'll just give you the floor. What did you learn? I don't know if we learned anything, but it was very maybe a little bit more clear about Devin White.
That was the standout moment for me. I mean, I know a lot of Jason's background in history. I had beers with him at the press box. We've talked football before. Like I knew all of that, his backstory. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he has become so hyper focused on character and team. And I think that marries so well with Todd Bowles' philosophy. Todd Bowles doesn't want drama. He doesn't want, outlandish, characters. He wants a team that rows in the boat in the same direction and plays football. Like Todd's a funny guy, but he's also a very serious guy. He's serious about football. He wants guys that are serious about football. And he loved Devin White. There's no doubt about it. I think if Todd had his druthers, let me say this. Todd's Achilles heel is that he gets drunk on some players. And I don't mean with alcohol because Todd doesn't drink. He drinks milk and he eats cookies. And that's a fact. And I'm not demeaning Todd, but he'll get drunk on some milk on some certain players. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was one. That was the chess piece that he envisioned. And much like me with golf, like I'm better in my head than I am in real life. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in Todd's head is better than he was on the field. And the same thing with Devin White. He loved Devin as a player, never really wanted to give up on him, even though Devin was giving up on the team by being egocentric and being all about him.
Right.
And I think that's why Jason Licht and Todd Bowles work really well together because, at the end of the day, this is Jason Light's team. He hired Todd, right? And he's the general manager. And, when certain players are playing too much and their contracts are up, the general manager says, we're not re-signing these guys. Sorry. Then I think that's kind of putting your foot down a little bit. And I credit Jason and the reason why, even like in the dark years during the decade of darkness where Jason Licht came in 2014, kind of like in the middle of it, they didn't win until 2020. The reason why I was willing to give Jason Licht the benefit of the doubt, stick up for him, is because I kind of understood the reasoning. Like I could see the vision and the plan. Yep. Sometimes plans don't take hold, like what the Washington Commanders did last year with new owner, new head coach, new quarterback. They came in, they stormed the league, and that happens every once in a while, but that's not typically, it's rare. That's not the typical results that you're going to get. It's a process. You have to build this thing. If you build it, they will come. Tom Brady came because he built a Super Bowl ready offensive line with Super Bowl ready talent at wide receiver. And they had a very good defense under Todd Bowles. But it's taken Jason a while to kind of understand that, players like Devin White, they're just not worth it. The talent isn't worth it because the effort is always not going to be there. It's about the player, not the team. And I think he's grown a lot since then. And again, circling back to my original point, what I really respect the most about Jason Licht is his willingness to cut bait. Yeah. Right. He'll try a player.
Admit a mistake. Yeah.
Admit a mistake and move on. We saw that with a lot of players in 2014. Michael Johnson, Josh McCown, Anthony Collins. We saw that with Chris Baker. He was a free agent bust here in Tampa, the defensive tackle, who was a bit of a turd, if you ask me. Yeah. And then he was a turd.
More than a bit. Flushed. Yeah. More than a bit. Yeah.
Wasn't very liked in the locker room and just his play was subpar in the field. And then you had more recently, when you trade up in the second round for a kicker, Roberto Aguayo, right? And and there were some general managers that would hang on to that mistake, just out of ego, didn't want to admit it. And it's like, that was a bad move. That 2016 draft was awful, right? But he's learned from that, and he moved on from the kicker he traded up in the second round for. That's to be commended. I think that's why the Glazers have said, we don't expect perfection from you, but by God, man, don't compound a mistake by hanging on to it. And he's shown
so
that
many general managers do that.
Oh, Rich McKay did that. Rich McKay did that. I mean, Eric Curry. Eric Curry couldn't play from day one. I mean, Warren Sapp shows up in '95, during the OTAs, whatever they called the mini camp, in the off season back then. And he's like, "Who's this lazy bum? Like, he's a starter? what do you? Sapp hadn't even been in Tampa long enough to sign his apartment lease yet, but he knew that Eric Curry couldn't play. But yet, Rich McKay held on to that guy for all 5 years of his contract, even when he was a backup, because he didn't want to admit a mistake. And I think that's what's refreshing about Jason Licht is they churn this roster, they find players that can play, they keep them, and the ones that can't, they move on, and then it's just back to the grind with Mike Beal and Rob McCartney and that personnel and that scouting staff trying to find guys that can play.
Scott Reynolds joining us here from the Pewter Report. What do you expect Saturday night in terms of starters playing? I know Todd's been a little evasive about that, but what do you sense?
A couple things, right? A lot of it's going to depend on how much work they get done and, quite frankly, how good they look on Thursday in the joint practice session, because, nobody wants to kind of if they play well on Thursday, they get a lot of good work in, then it can be a situation where the starters just don't play a whole bunch, right? And then Todd can sit there and say, hey, we found a lot of answers in the joint practice with the Steelers. However, if they don't look good, then you might see, instead of like a series or two, you might see a whole quarter, right? And I do think that they don't want to play the starters against the Buffalo Bills because they'll play Buffalo later in the season.
Right.
But I will say this, Saturday, it's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be 88 degrees, not at kickoff, but that's the high, the low of 65. Boy, maybe I should have gone to Pittsburgh. Those temperatures. But Saturday night, sunny, no chance for rain, unlike Tampa. So weather's not going to be a factor. I was going to say, if weather was going to be a factor, then you don't play guys more than a quarter or two because you don't want a wet field where you can slip. But we already saw 2 groin injuries. That's a very prevalent injury when you have a wet field is, you step, into the ground, your foot slides, you stretch that groin. We saw that with Rachaad White. We also saw that with Dennis Houston, who was actually having kind of like an under the radar good training camp. Yeah. And so, I'm of the opinion that since it's sunny, they get a lot of work, good work in on Thursday, maybe a series or two, maybe a quarter. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be anything more than a quarter, though, because this is a defense with the starters that knows the system and knows the scheme. So there's really not much to learn. Same with the offense. This is a carryover from last year to a degree with some new terminology here and there, some new plays here and there. But by and large, it's, we know what we have, and we have really good starters on offense and defense. And then it's just going to be, trying to find who the 12 or 13 new Buccaneers are going to be this year. Like, that's really what it is. If you're a good team, you're trying to build a 53-man roster. 40 of those guys right now, maybe 42, 43. You're basically trying to find who are the 12 guys on the back end of the roster, the depth pieces, the special teamers. If you're a team like the Titans when they came in here, new head coach, new quarterback, not very good team, right? They had the number 1 overall pick. You might know who 20 of your guys out of the 53 are, right?
Right.
So there's a lot more work that needs to be done in the preseason if you're the Tennessee Titans, because you might think 20 guys can play, but you sucked so bad last year, you got to really churn that roster and get some new players in there because the ones from last year sucked. And so that's the difference between a team like Tampa Bay and a team like Tennessee. The Bucs are really only going through training camp and the preseason from a roster construction standpoint to try to find like a dozen guys.
Scott Reynolds joining us here. Scotty, I listen to all your podcasts. I'm a big fan of the Pewter Report, as you know. You and I rarely disagree, but I think we may have a spot of contention, and that is who is the backup quarterback? Who is the back? I think we probably agree in the long run, but so I heard you say that Trask is the guy.
Yep.
And I kind of feel like Trask is not the guy, and that's why they brought in Teddy Bridgewater. They also needed some depth. Obviously, they had to waive Michael Pratt. But I also think Teddy's here for more than just being a third guy on the practice squad. And I don't think that they trust Kyle Trask. And I think he played better. And I think part of the reason they brought him in is to light a fire under his ass. And I think he was a little bit more decisive on Saturday night, which is, I think, one of his big drawbacks. He needs to be quicker in his decision-making. But I think in the long run, by maybe week 3 or week 4, Teddy gets his legs underneath him. He's still a little rusty in his throwing. We saw that the other day.
Mhm.
But I think when he gets his legs, I still don't think that they trust Trask, and in the end that they'll turn it over to Teddy if they have to.
Well,
where do we differ here?
From a timing standpoint, right? Timing
Yeah.
is everything, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So at the start of the season, Teddy Bridgewater will be on the practice squad.
I agree. I agree with that.
And the
Yeah.
reason for that is if he's on the Bucs 53-man roster, and this is the same reason why you're going to see Sterling Shepard on the practice squad to start the season, even though he could be called up like he was last year. If you're a vested veteran, which means I want to say it's either 8 or 10 years, something like that, if you've had a lot of time in the league, that your salary, your base salary for that season is fully guaranteed, whether you play or not, if you're on the 53-man roster for week 1. That's just a league-wide NFL rule. So for guys like Bridgewater and Sterling Shepard, they're going to start on the practice squad because, anything can happen, and you don't want to have, even if it's like $1 million, you don't want that guaranteed. You don't mind paying it if you need to throughout the season, but that's part and parcel to what I'm talking about. So the other thing too is Teddy Bridgewater may get some work, may get some snaps in the game on Saturday night against Pittsburgh Steelers, but he might not know all of the plays. Like when I was out there at practice on Monday, he threw one pass that was like 10 yards. The only other passes he threw were screen passes. He just doesn't know the offense yet.
Right.
And so
exactly.
if you're the Buccaneers, if you're the Buccaneers and let's say hypothetically, because you wouldn't have Teddy Bridgewater on the roster in week 1. So let's say in week 2 against Houston, let's say Baker kind of pulls a hammy a little bit in week 1. He starts week 2, and because of that, you want to elevate Teddy Bridgewater from the practice squad to the active roster for week 2, just as a backup.
Right.
That seems logical and plausible.
Yep.
He would not go in the game if Baker Mayfield said, that hammy's bother me. I gotta come out. Kyle Trask would be the guy because Teddy Bridgewater just doesn't have the understanding of the whole playbook. Doesn't have the chemistry with these receivers, tight ends, and backs. He just doesn't. The reason where you might see Teddy Bridgewater come to the active roster as a number 3 quarterback and be in play to go in the game instead of Kyle Trask would be later in the season. I think by mid-season, he might have a full grasp of this playbook. He's a smart guy. Right. But at the same time, you can't go out there as a quarterback. I don't care how much experience you have and call a play that you're not familiar with. And you think the receiver is going to be here and the receiver is actually there. And you throw the ball right to a defensive back and it's a pick 6 because then you lose the game. So you can't do that. So even though Teddy Bridgewater has more experience, more wins under his belt, a lot of good things about Teddy, Kyle Trask is still the right backup quarterback for this team right now.
For now. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Mid-season.
I figure we did agree.
Yeah. Towards the end of the season, especially if it's not going to be a game where Baker misses, if it's a stretch of games, then you're going to see Teddy brought up to the active roster. And then they have some options. The other thing too is let's not forget, Kyle Trask has played well. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the preseason last year. Thought he played really good. He made some great throws on Saturday night. And more importantly, didn't make any mistakes. There weren't any turnover-worthy plays that I saw. But the thing is, JP, when you look at this backup quarterback situation, you're 2 plays away from disaster if you don't have Teddy Bridgewater. Right?
That's right.
If you had Michael Pratt, if you had Connor Basilick as number 3, your season is over. And just ask the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Okay. They were in the NFC Championship game and they lost their 3rd string quarterback that year. 3rd string was Brock Purdy. Right. They had Jimmy Garoppolo. They had Trey Lance. They were on their 3rd string quarterback. He goes out in that game and all of a sudden Eagles automatically go to the Super Bowl because Christian McCaffrey is running the Wildcat for what? 2/3 of that game.
That.
Yeah. So smart move by the Buccaneers. I would not have applauded this move 2 years ago because it was not a Super Bowl ready team. Now it is. And you have backup options now with Bridgewater. So great move by Jason Licht bringing him in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess in the long term, we do agree on this. So luckily, this is what we have to talk about: the backup quarterback, because everything else is so good on his team.
That's good.
Here's another take I think we agree on, and I just have to talk about it again because I marvel at it. This training camp has showed me, and we could talk about all the new players all we want, but to me, the biggest surprise, I don't even know if it's a surprise. It's just like admitting I've never seen Mike Evans look better. And he's 31 years old. He's 31 freaking years old.
He'll be 32 in a week?
Yeah.
Like
and he looks faster. He looks better. He looks unstoppable. Like he's been good, obviously, but this is next level. You're almost 32 years old, bro. At what point do you slow down? He's been absolutely phenomenal. And if he stays healthy this year, I'm looking at 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he really could.
Baker are so simpatico right now. They're unstoppable.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like, remember last year, Chris was getting force-fed the ball. I mean, part of this is it's a slot-driven offense, right? The passing game is slot-driven, not like Bruce Arians where it's vertical passes to Gronk and Godwin, but the more crossers, the underneath stuff, the yards after catch. This is a slot-driven offense. You go back to the Rams, Puka Nacua, before him, Cooper Kupp, right? So Chris Godwin is playing that type of role. But now no Godwin, and we saw Mike Evans in the slot more last year than we ever have, because that's just a function of this offense. And remember, we were kind of like what Mike had prior to his injury, I think like 303 yards, right, through the first 7 games. And we're like, Liam, what are you doing? Like, I mean, it's great that Chris is off to this hot start, but man, it's like, come on, we need Mike to get 1,000 yards, right? And then he hurt the hamstring, and he had to go on this Herculean run, which he did. But I don't think this is going to be the case this year, JP. I think you're going to see Mike Evans get force-fed the ball because at the end of the day, I mean, he's worthy of it. He's having the best camp he's ever had, in my opinion. Honestly, he's the best player I agree. In terms of having a camp. He's had the best camp of any Buccaneer. I've yet to see him really have a bad day. If he drops a pass, it's a rarity. It's like he teleports. It's like he just teleports open. Like he has some mutant ability. The only player that can cover him really is Zion McCollum. And a perfect throw beats a perfect coverage, right? And we've seen Baker Mayfield throw the ball perfectly to Mike, where Mike catches the ball like this, and Zion's hand is like right here, but it's like an inch away, and it's like close but no cigar. He's had a phenomenal camp, and I expect if you have Mike Evans on your fantasy team, now keep in mind you are going to see a bunch of double coverages. You are going to see coverages roll to Mike, but Josh Grizzard saw what happened last year when Mike's in the slot. It's hard to double Mike in the slot.
Move him around. Move him around.
And I think you're going to see that a lot. And so I would expect Mike to put up some really big numbers to start the season. And of course, again, 1-on-1 down there at the 7-yard line, throw the ball to Mike at the fade, and he's going to score a touchdown. So I'm with you, brother. He's looked phenomenal. He really has. In my mind, this is not his last year in Tampa. I think he's on that Rondé Barber, Levante David role of, hey, you want to play another year? Great. We want you to play another year. We'll add another year to your deal.
Year. Yeah.
There's something in my mind, because I don't think Mike wants to be that guy to hang on at like 35, 36, 37. I could be wrong. We'll see. I don't think Mike knows right now, but I don't think he wants to be that guy that becomes the possession receiver, the 700-yard guy, the 5 touchdowns, like Keyshawn Johnson was in the later parts of his year. To me, I think in year 12, if he gets 1,000 yards, he comes back for one more year. And then in year 13, because Mike's number is 13, if he has 13 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, something tells me he might go out on top and just say, I'm done. No one's ever going to get 13 years.
That timing seems about right.
Because then he'll be 33 at that time. And that just seems like a good time for Mike, because I do think he wants to play in the Olympics.
Yeah, it does, and he can't be, and you can't be on an active roster to play in the Olympics. We're thinking, I don't know. Well,
I think so. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Right.
So from a fantasy, are you a fantasy guy? Do you fantasy football at all?
A little bit, but not. I just don't have time to keep up with the entire league.
I know. It's tough, but I do.
Yeah.
You know, I play in this league with John Smoltz, and I know
Mhm.
Smoltzy watches the show, so I shouldn't be revealing this. But I'm looking at Mike Evans and maybe the third or fourth round,
Yeah.
and I think most, maybe even the second, because
Yeah.
I get to keep Jamar Chase, which will be nice. So I start with him.
Yeah.
I know, and then if
the
Ibuka's
two-punch.
there, and if the Ibuka's like average draft position, I think is like 110, 109.
I
So
would get
he's
him a
like
little
going
earlier.
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
yeah.
take him in the 12 man
Yeah.
league. I'll take him in the 6th or 7th round because he's going to get the Godwin
Yes, he
treatment
is.
early on. He's
Yes.
going to get 8 to 10 targets in the first.
No doubt.
Don't you
and
think?
he's going to benefit from, he's going to benefit from Mike being the only guy that's really double worthy, right? It's hard when you have Mike and Chris in the field and Chris plays that ever important slot position. It's kind of pick your poison if you're a defensive coordinator. Which guy am I going to double? Because either one can kill me.
Right.
Chris
Exactly.
can kill me. Chris can kill me with the first downs and moving the chains and then scoring, the touchdowns. Mike can kill me with the chunk plays and the red zone, right? So either one of them can kill you. Both are assassins. Emeka Ibuka is the assassin nobody knows about unless you're a Buccaneers fan. Because
I may end up with Mike, Ibuka, Bucky. I mean, I don't want to be
Jalen.
a homer and Baker.
Yeah.
Baker. I'll draft Baker. I did last year. He was
Right.
tremendous.
Well,
I
the
think
other thing is,
ESPN has him
Jalen
at
McMillan
7.
is still a fantasy steal.
He'll be available in like the 14th round.
Of course. And he's a guy that I think you could pencil in at least 5 touchdowns this year. And Chris Godwin's not going to play for the first 4 games. He's going to be on the PUP list to start.
Are we pretty sure about that, or are we still
it's
guessing?
August 13th. I mean, come on.
Come on. And he
We're
hasn't
3
even
weeks
run.
away from the
We
start
haven't
of the
seen
season.
him run. Right? We haven't seen him run.
Much
Take
less
one
practice.
step.
Remember, back in 2022, after he signed his deal, he practiced on August 5th with a big, bulky leg knee brace. Okay. That was August 5th. That was 8 days ago. He was practicing on August 5th, 2022, with the big, bulky knee brace and was doing everything on August 5th except for team. He did individuals, he did one-on-ones, all that stuff. But we have not seen Chris even jogging, much less running, much less cutting on that surgically repaired ankle on a side field. So, I mean, we're running out of time. The math is not in his favor. And he's certainly not going to be ready for week 1. And if that's the case, you can't go into the season opener with 51 guys on your team. You can go in with 52. Tristan's going to be that guy who I think is going to dodge PUP.
Right. I agree.
I think he'll be on the roster. Maybe not play for week 1. Maybe not be ready for week 2, but he might be ready for week 3 or 4. And you have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I agree.
Tristan Wirfs can sit there and suit up for you against the Jets and the Eagles, and you only miss him for 2 games. That's a win. That's a win. And you have to create that window of opportunity for him to be able to do that. He's walking around now. He essentially just carries a crutch. It's not even 2 crutches. He just carries a crutch around. There's no brace. There's no sleeve on that knee. So, but with Godwin, it's
and if a fight breaks out, he can use it as a weapon, as we saw.
That's right.
So
yeah, WWE style, absolutely. Yeah, there's no folding chairs out there in practice, but the cane will do the trick, right? So, but with Godwin, you can't carry him on to 53. I mean, you have to for a day. Both Tristan and Godwin will be on the 53 for a day. So when you see that, don't get too excited, Bucs fans, because the rule is, if you're going to put a player on the PUP list for the first 4 games where he's out, he doesn't count against the roster, he has to make the team first. Otherwise, if he goes, if they don't designate him to be on the active roster, then Chris is on season-ending injured reserve.
Right.
And they're going to have Chris back this year, just not in September. It's going to be more like October.
Yeah.
So having said that, both those guys will be on the 53 for the first 24 hours. Then they'll put the PUP designation on Chris. I'm hopeful, and I don't think they're going to put it on Tristan. They could, but I just think that, let's just say I've got an educated guess that I think Tristan's going to avoid PUP.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, partner, tell us what's coming up on Pewter Report this week, since you got the guys on the road. Remind everybody.
I got to get the week off from the podcast. So Wednesday and Thursday, today and tomorrow's shows will be at 4 o'clock today. Tomorrow's practice is later in the afternoon, so stay tuned for that time. Probably going to be a later podcast, maybe 6 o'clock. We'll see. Maybe 5 o'clock. But the boys will be up there in Pittsburgh, so you can check that out on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. We've got a Pewter Pulse video on Nick Action Jackson going up later today. I really like this linebacker from Iowa, man.
Yeah.
That Saturday was not a fluke. He's been doing that kind of stuff in practice. Yep. He looks really good. He might be a sleeper to keep an eye on. We'll see how he fares on Saturday. You can follow all of the action. We have Payne Durham's Camp Diary, a new one up today on pewterreport.com. We have Elijah Roberts' Camp Diary going up tomorrow. Lots of great content on pewterreport.com. And you can follow us on social media, X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
All right, Scotty, great stuff, my friend. Appreciate you as always. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate you, JP. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. The great Scott Reynolds. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, 5 questions for JP. Emily's got 5 questions lined up, and we've got on all the different subjects, including pop culture, which I can't wait to see what that question is. So we'll do that, and we will chat with Pat Burnham as well. Florida State, covering Florida State, part of the new Burnham Brothers podcast. We had him on last week. It's awesome stuff. If you're a college football fan, you will love this segment. So stay with us. Back in 3. From I do to I still do, the Golden Diamond Source is there for every special moment in your lives and mine. JP here for the Golden Diamond Source. I bought my engagement ring there, and so did my co-host Nick. Great experience. And no matter what your budget is, they will guide you from your first diamond purchase to upgrading your Golden Diamond Source diamond at 100% of its value for a bigger, better diamond. That's awesome. 100% of your diamond's value. You can't get that anywhere else. Enjoy their beautiful, relaxing bridal salon and select from the most extensive collection of diamond engagement rings, anniversary rings, and wedding bands. Julie and Steve Weintraub have always told me that they want to be your family jeweler, and that has been true for me, from special presents like birthstone pendants, tennis bracelets, even diamond studs. They have it all in one place. So if you want her to say I do or I still do, be sure to choose a diamond from the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on. And on this Wednesday, we're getting some breaking news. Breaking news from Amalie Arena. We have a new name for Amalie Arena. It is Benchmark International, which I believe is a local company, a new local company. Certainly putting their name on this. Yeah, absolutely. As I peruse the comments, Amalie Arena is now Benchmark International Arena. What is it?
It says it's a global M&A firm that is headquartered in Tampa.
Global M&A?
Mm-hmm. That's what the article says.
What is
Would
that?
you like to read it?
What does that mean? Yeah.
I have no idea.
18 million a year. Okay, so this Vinnick Sports Group has agreed to a multi-year naming rights agreement for the Lightning home arena with privately held M&A firm Benchmark International that begins today. The venue, which should be known as Amalie Arena, will be Benchmark International Arena. The length and financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but a source with knowledge of the agreement said it's for 10 years and ranks among the top 5 richest for a standalone NHL arena, no NBA tenant. UBS deal for Islanders home arena is believed to be the most lucrative for an NHL building at $18 million a year. Vinnick Sports Group's CEO Steve Gribbs pointed to the agreement as an important milestone on the way to the renovation of the 29-year-old arena. The building is coming up on 30 years old. There's a real commitment to this building to enhance it and make sure it's here for the next 20 to 25 years. This partnership with Benchmark International is going to allow us to do a number of those things, and we're working hard with Hillsborough County to make sure this building is a world-class building for the next round of NCAA events, USA Gymnastics, SEC, or ACC. Okay, so we'll find out more about this company as we go through it, but that's huge for the Tampa Bay area because it improves the arena, and also for the Lightning, gives them more revenue as well. And it's so funny. Everybody's like, well, where are we going to get the money to do all this stuff? Well, it doesn't have to always come from government. Like private enterprise, like the Lightning are an incredible brand. And Amalie Arena, now Benchmark International Arena, is going to be an incredible brand. It's one of the busiest venues in the world. And so, yeah, it always doesn't have to come from public money. And it's something that the Rays and Stu never quite understood. They were always looking for a handout. And that's not something that Jeffrey Vinnick has ever done. He's like, okay, we'll go put $3 billion of investment in Water Street, and we'll also, and then it's much easier for Ken Hagan and Jane Castor, who are at this press conference, to say, hey, we'll throw in 20, 30 million in bed tax revenue as part of our, portion of this, because it obviously does benefit the county. That's what you call a win-win public-private partnership. And that's what most sports teams are looking to do, except if your name is Stu Sternberg and you just want to, bilk the public out of billions of dollars. And it's just all about you getting the money, and you're not a true partner. And that's why those deals never went through, because of him. And now this is what you see when you have real ownership that wants to partner with the community. So there you go. If we find out more, we will pass it on. All right, Emily, I tasked you with giving me 5 questions. So shoot. What do you got?
All right. Well, since we are fresh on the Lightning subject, shall we let
Yes.
them kick us off? Okay,
Let's do that.
so in addition to a new name for their arena, they've got a new station covering the team. It's completely dedicated to the Lightning. It
Yes.
seems like, how do you think that'll kind of impact the experience for fans?
This is a wonderful and forward-thinking initiative by the Lightning once again. Now, to say that they came up with it would be wrong because the Panthers kind of did this last year with a local station. And with the new regional sports networks going under, you had to find a way to get your product to more people. And in the last 2 or 3 years with FanDuel, so many Lightning fans were complaining they could not see the games. So the Lightning now, and this is very much a developing story going forward, how they're going to get the revenue, how much they're going to get. But I think in bringing it to an over-the-air station that works with Scripps, Channel 28 here locally, Tampa Bay 28, basically there's lots of different ways you can get it. It's going to be available on every cable system, whatever cable system you have, whether it's Spectrum, Frontier, or whatever. If you have YouTube TV and you have the local TV package, you will get it as well. They'll also have, if you want to stream it, you want to download an app, they're going to have that as well. So I think this is a tremendous initiative, and it takes a little bit of a bold stroke and forward thinking, and they've got to go out now. And I don't know if they're selling the local television package or Channel 28 is selling it, but whatever it is, they've got to go out within the community and regional sponsors and now sell this. And I think it's going to be a tremendous success and another great revenue builder. So again, the Lightning doing it right.
It's great news that it's going to be accessible to. Because,
and I think you'll see the new Rays ownership move towards this as well.
Okay.
They've already got a deal with Channel 44. They've done, I think, 20 games this year, 10 or 20 games, and I think you'll see them do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It's good news though, because
Good for the fans.
Just stuff popping up to watch everything. It's like you have to subscribe to a different thing for everything. So
It's maddening.
That it's going to be
Maddening.
accessible is really good news.
Yes, great news.
All right, we'll jump back over to the Bucks since we just got so much insight
Okay.
about them. We talked a lot about the offense. Curious to hear your thoughts on the defense. They've already had some injuries, a few guys banged up. Do you think fans should be worried about what we're seeing?
No, you should be excited.
Okay.
You should be excited about this defense because last year, especially in the playoff game, it was bad. It's really, really bad. And the passiveness of the defense. I mean, they weren't physical. They left guys wide open. It was just in the run game, they were good. And they've been really good at the run. When you have Vita Vea, it's hard to be bad against the run. But everywhere else, they were bad. And they didn't force turnovers. And so even though there's a bunch of backups, they got 3 interceptions. They also broke up 10 passes in that game, in the first game. But it's just, that shows you the philosophy has changed dramatically. And if you've noticed, Todd Bowles the other day didn't even watch the defense in the joint practices, and he certainly wasn't calling the defense. So this may be the worst. Well, I don't know, and I'm not going to say right now that Todd Bowles won't be calling the defense, but I think there's a pretty good chance that Larry Foote's going to be calling the defense this year. And I think it's changed dramatically. And I tip my hat to Todd Bowles for taking a step back and being more of a CEO now and letting others game management. They brought in a game management coach. And I think defensively, this is a totally different philosophy. It's much more aggressive. They brought in 2 corners who can play man-to-man, so they don't have to worry about some of the backups. And I think they're going to go full force with more pressure, not only from a front 4 standpoint with Hassan Reddick, but now there's going to be not those easy reads right off where Bo Nix can just take 2 steps back and throw to a 7-yard out pattern on first down and a 2nd and 3. And that's what they did last year. And it's what they did with Jaden Daniels. You can't do it. It's slow death, and I hate it. So they've changed that. I'm excited about this defense.
Let's go ahead and just get this one over with. Talk about the Rays for a second. And
yes.
Although it pains me to ask you this and not necessarily talk badly about someone because he shares my last name. So, I got to give him a little love. But
all right.
Do you think it's a good look to call up a Savannah Banana or a former Savannah Banana?
No.
Okay.
You're a clown show. You're already a clown show off the field, the Rays. And now you're going to bring up a guy who brings, I don't know what the hell this guy brings to the table. I guess he's supposed to be good defensively, but unless he starts doing backflips and dancing and doing things the Savannah Bananas do, then I don't know what good he is, to be quite honest. I'm not trying to be mean with the guy, but Tristan Peters is just I mean, he's offensively, he's still looking for his first hit, and we called him backup. We sent him down, and we called him backup. And the fact that he played for the Savannah Bananas makes you look like a clown show. I mean, if the guy can hit home runs and do something, maybe. We got guys at freaking AAA that are leading AAA in home runs. And we're bringing up this knucklehead? No, you look like a clown show.
You know how many people go to those Savannah Banana games?
No, I get it. It's way more entertaining than a Rays game. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's true. That's a really good point.
Yeah. I don't think the Rays would fill Raymond James Stadium. In fact, I know they wouldn't. But yeah, we'll go watch the Savannah Bananas.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving
Next
right
question.
Let's talk some college football. How about?
Let's do that.
I have a kind of bonus question for you.
Okay.
Have you watched the new SEC special on Netflix?
I have.
Have you?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I hate the SEC because they're just better.
I was going to say, I'm a little disappointed in you for giving that a view.
Yeah, listen, they're the gold standard of college football. They just are.
Mhm.
And it does mean more. And it is the pinnacle of college football in terms of conferences. The Big Ten is I think it's getting there, but SEC is still king, even though the Big Ten's won the last 2 national championships. But yeah, the SEC is such a big business. I love the Netflix special. I love going behind the scenes and seeing. I don't think people realize the facilities and the money that has gone into what these kids get. I mean, it's better than the NFL. It's better than because they couldn't spend the money on the players. They had to find a place to spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where they spent the money. And you see these facilities, and it's insane. The Florida State's new facility. It's unbelievable. But good for them. Yeah, no, I love it. Anything like the Netflix stuff is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna build their brand even more.
Mm-hmm.
Rat bastards. And I think long term, I still think FSU is going to the Big Ten and not the SEC.
Oh yeah.
Which when FSU goes to the Big Ten with Clemson, then Clemson might come to the SEC, maybe. But I think the Big Ten will be on equal footing with the SEC. That's what I predict.
That's interesting.
Yes.
On a grander scale of college football, what do you think is the ideal playoff format? Since there's a lot up in the air for.
I like the 12. My favorite would be the 12 playoff. Okay, everybody. But I would go to the super conferences where I would have 6 conferences, six conferences back to their geographic roots. By the way, get this Cal out of the ACC BS. So go back to a geographically sensible, historic Pac-12, big, all that stuff, and have 96 teams or 84. I forget what the numbers are. I think it's 96. Where you win your division, you get into a conference championship game, which is the first round of the playoffs, and then you just move from there. So basically, you have 12 teams. And there's relegation for the other teams, the other 30 or 40 teams. You can get into a conference geographically. If you win your conference, you move up the next year. The last place team moves down. So all those other teams will be represented. And it's just basically, if you win, you're in. There's no more of this. I hate the voting. I hate all this other stuff. Get it out of here. I don't need any more committees. Just give me the super conferences, 96 teams, win your division, get to the conference championship game, and then we play it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well,
I fixed it again.
Wins don't always matter,
well,
as we know.
When you have a committee that's owned by ESPN and they have an axe to grind, that's what happens.
Let's get to some pop culture, which I know you are.
All right, last one. I got Pat waiting in the bullpen.
Okay.
He looks. He's mean.
We've got to cover this.
Yes.
This ring, Ronaldo ring.
The Ronaldo ring.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. What are your thoughts?
It's grotesque. It's grotesque. It's weird though. Now, how big is it?
Okay, so there's a lot of speculation about this ring. So this is according to Forbes.
Okay. And this is Ronaldo, the superstar soccer player, for those of you who don't know.
Yep.
Finally married his longtime girlfriend, Georgina Rodriguez.
Yep, that's her name.
Yeah.
And Forbes says, again, there's a lot of speculation about this, but about 50 carats worth up to $3 million.
Wow.
It's massive.
3 million?
3 million. Speculation.
Well, see, if he doesn't do it, then everybody goes, "Oh, you're cheap. You only got her a 10 carat ring." But it's gross.
Yeah, but it looks bad.
It looks bad. It
looks tacky.
It looks like costume jewelry.
Yeah.
But it's not. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, anybody who has $33 million to spend on a ring, and he's made what Danny said, $1 billion in his soccer career.
So
I think you got to do it.
Yeah.
I think you have to. I think if you, at that point you have to, no matter how tacky it is, you got to do it, because otherwise people just going to say, "Oh my God, you cheaped out."
There's got to be a way for it to look better, though. It's just one giant rock, and it doesn't look good.
How many carats is it?
50.
50
I
carats.
guess. And another source I saw said like 37, which is still a lot.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think though you have to. If you're Ronaldo, you got to do it. You're either going to be called cheap or grotesquely excessive. And I'll go with, if I'm a rich guy, I want the second one. All right. Here, let's go to a man who knows a lot about buying big diamond rings for his betrothed, the great Pat Burnham of the Burnham Brothers podcast now, along with his brother Shane, longtime assistant coaches in college football, the best college football podcast you'll find. And you can get it on the Tampa Bay Sports Network, the FanStream Sports Tampa Bay. What's up, Pat? How are you?
Man, not a lot. We're trying to build it. We're only 11 or 12 episodes deep, so we're trying to get a feel for what we're doing.
You'll be making so much money. You'll be buying $3 million rings for your new wife.
She's gonna have to love me more than that. She ain't getting that.
How are you, partner?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Good.
What's going on in Tampa?
Oh, well, we got a hell of a football team here. We're just more worried about the football team up north and how they're going to do. And a lot of, I don't know, are we getting mixed signals in the scrimmages? I know you guys can't watch practice anymore, and so it's hard to get a feel for everything. We got to trust the coaches. But I'll say this: the dismissal of Conrad Hussey, I think, is nothing personal about him. It's just the sign of accountability is a wonderful thing for me. But you'll probably have more insight on this. What's up?
Well, listen. First of all, he could have been a really, really good football player. And you hate to lose good football players, but the rumor around the program and the scuttlebutt around the program on Conrad is he's not bought in totally. And where Florida State is as a program, if you're not on board with everybody else, if you don't have 2 feet in like everybody else, you got to go. Now I hate to see him leave just from what he brought as a potential guy, but you also don't want a guy that's going to be disruptive in the locker room. And to your point, listen, at least on the defensive side of the ball, there seems to be more accountability. These players are being held to under Tony White based off what he said. We still got to see all these things come to fruition because we sat there and watched practice last year. And again, some of the misevaluation by the coaches and the media was based on how those guys practice, because we didn't get to see 11 on 11 football, tackle football. It was always inside drills, not inside drill anymore, those kind of things. But yeah, listen, I was, the thing that caught me about what the coaches said about the scrimmage, particularly Mike, Gus, and Tony, is that they were much more forward and honest than I think we've seen the coordinators in the past under Mike. They, specifically talked about kids, which is
okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. So what did we learn from Tony White the other day? I saw one snippet where he basically said, listen, if you're not going to stick your nose in there, if you're not going to be physical, you're not going to play. And I'm like, yeah, amen. Good to hear it. But is it really happening?
Yeah, well, listen, I have a feeling that he is being genuine. Like you said, we have the media has been to one practice since this new staff got here, and that was in the spring. That was a scrimmage, so we didn't get to see them interact with kids like they normally would in a normal practice. So, you got to take him at his word. You got to, he's got a successful track record. I think that, I tell people this all the time. When you're listening to these guys talk, it's kind of like what I used to try to teach guys how to evaluate off huddle film, right? It's highlight. So you're going to see great stuff. You're going to see the best stuff that they do. Pay attention to what you don't see on tape. And as much as you pay attention to what coaches are telling you in these interviews, you need to pay attention to what they're saying, but you also need to pay attention to what they're not saying. It's just like Tony White. He was asked about the defense. And hey, who's standing out to you on defense? Who's stepping up? And he mentioned the Desire twins, and he's talking about the front line, front four, front three, whatever you want to call it. And he mentioned Darrell Desire, Mandrell Desire, Darrell Jackson, Jaden Jones, and James Williams. And that's great. But you're going to be a multiple front defense that's going to play four-man fronts and three-man fronts. You certainly would have liked to have heard KJ Sampson and some of these other guys' names in those comments. So he is using these opportunities to send a message to his team. And
Good.
I wish Mike would do that more, but Mike's more of
Yes.
I'm gonna stand on my themes and I'm gonna repeat them all the time, and that's fine. I mean, we know that about Mike, but I think Gus and Tony have been more than forthcoming than the previous two coordinators were.
And what did we learn from Gus? From his presser.
You know, Gus is
Is
kind of
Castellanos playing well or is he not playing well? I can't figure it out.
well, it depends on what third party source you are trusting. I read something last night where they said he struggled in the first scrimmage, and of course, you know, Gus let it be known that he opened up a Sunday scrimmage with an interception, which was followed by 2 touchdowns. I've heard he's taken sack. Listen, you know, here's what I'm going to tell you about third party intel. People are going to tell you what they want you to hear or what they think you want to hear 99% of the time. I'm not sure how much of third party intel is totally accurate, right? I mean, it's all coming from a slant. So I try to salt or water down my expectations when I hear a third party source say something. But listen, you know, Gus talked a little bit about the fact that the offensive line was starting to gel because they did not get a chance to work together in the spring. The 5 guys that are going to constitute the starting offensive line, which are 4 transfers and Richie Leonard. So that was good to hear that, and it sounds like those guys are healthy. You know, he mentioned that at running back, it was Chuck, and Croma standing out. Mike mentioned all 5 of them. Gus didn't go through the whole list. We're not going to see them use 4 and 5 running backs in a half like we did last year. The rotation under Gus's offense is going to be different than what Mike and David have done, and David Johnson, the running backs coach, have done in the past. You go back to the Georgia Tech game. I think all 5 running backs got reps in the first quarter of that game. That's ridiculous. So I think that you're going to see that running back room start to take shape. It certainly looks like it's going to be Chuck, Croma, and Roydell Williams based on what Gus said. So you can get a little insight there. You know, I was kind of disappointed that he only mentioned the starting receivers as guys that have stood out. That's, to me, that is the biggest question mark on this offense outside of Castellanos being able to cut down on the turnovers. You know, he mentioned Deuce Robinson, Squirrel White, and obviously Javon Boggs, and that's great. You're having a you know, true freshman standing out. Maybe you hit a home run there. But you know, listen, he said there's not enough guys needing to where they need to be on both sides of the ball. Both of them mentioned that. They thought that the second scrimmage was a time for guys to assert themselves, whether it's as a starting role or 2 deep. So I think they've got a little way. I think they got a little ways to go before Alabama comes rolling into town 17 days from now or 18 days from now, whatever day it is.
Ooh, well, they'll find out real early what they need to work on. Emily has a question for you, Pat.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Emily, how are you doing?
Curious. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you liking Tampa? You missed Tallahassee?
I do miss Tallahassee a little bit. I like Tampa. I'll actually be up there though tomorrow. I'm working some soccer games. So yeah, and I'm excited to be back at Doak, see the renovations and all that stuff. Curious, you mentioned, you know, you have to take everything you hear from, you know, third party platforms, I guess, kind of with a grain of salt. From your like immediate judgments from what you've seen with your own eyes, like what are your initial thoughts and who do you think is really going to step up this year?
Well, listen, I think the offensive line will be improved, and it would almost have to be, right. I mean, I don't think you're going to see what we saw last year from the offensive line. That was incredibly hard to watch. You got 4 guys that have come in. They have proven track records as starters at other P4 schools. I'm not going to say they're all going to be All-Americans, but I think that you would see it's substantial improvement as a group. So not as an individual. Now, the one individual where I've got sources that I trust, the guy that I want to see, and the guy they need to step up is Deuce Robinson at wide receiver. And I've talked with a former Florida State football player who is a high school coach who has been to multiple practices. And every time I talk to him, he talks about, hey, Deuce is going to be a difference maker. So we did not see him in the spring scrimmage. There are some sources I trust more than others, and somebody that's played the game at a high level and spent their entire career coaching. So I think Deuce is going to be a guy that they need to have a breakout season. He had 23 catches, I think, last year at USC, so he's still got some room to grow as far as what he can do. Defensively, I think the guy that's probably, I think two guys, Daryl Jackson, this is a money year for him. He played good the second half of last season, Emily, and that's what they need him to do for 12 to 13, 14 games this year, right? And then Omar Graham seems to really caught on in this. He had a really good day. The spring practice we did get to see. I've heard nothing but good things about him from, again, sources I trust. And that was a kid that coming out of high school, I was like, well, that's kind of a risky take. And it's good to see a guy like that play his best football as a senior. So, and then of course, everybody talks about Earl Little, and he's going to have to be as good as they say he is if he's going to play that middle safety rover position. So that's probably the one position group and the three guys that I'm looking forward to seeing play, or four guys I'm looking forward to see play on August 30th.
All right. Speaking of August 30th, Alabama has named their starting quarterback, Ty Simpson, who's been around for a while, redshirt junior.
Yep.
Not necessarily a highly ranked recruit, but and I know they've got a freshman in there that's very highly ranked, but it looks like Kalen DeBoer is going with the safe pick anyway for the first week. The guy who knows the offense, can run the offense. What do you know about this Alabama team? Do you expect them to be better than the 9-4 they were last year?
Well, listen, I think they will be. I think that Kalen DeBoer's got a little bit better idea of the beast that he's involved with in the SEC. I think that Ty Simpson's probably going to be a better passer than Jalen Milroe was. He is a dual threat guy. Don't get that wrong. He was one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the nation the year he came out. So we'll see. Now, I listened to Ryan Grubb talk yesterday about he was very emphatic that one of the reasons this guy's got the job, and sounded like there was no gray area about why he was starting, and that was because he is not turning the ball over in practice. He protects the football. So, listen, he's a big kid. What I heard from their scrimmage on this past Saturday was the offense is ahead of the defense, which is surprising because the defense returns more players at Alabama than the offense does. Listen, we know that they're basically reloading every year, right? So there shouldn't be a whole lot of fall off from one year to the next. And listen, but do I think there'll be anytime you've got a first time starting quarterback, there's some nervousness, you got to prove it, right? So
yeah,
as I've said all along, I think if you're Florida State, you are catching Alabama at the right time in your season opener. I don't think this is a game that you would want to see on Florida State's schedule in week 6 or 7 when Alabama has hit its stride, because the fact of the matter is, from a roster standpoint, Alabama's roster is much more talented than Florida State's at this point. But listen, you'll see some guys. I heard you talking about guys stepping up, when they're called upon, and I think you'll see some guys at Florida State step up. But yeah, I think this kid was not lightly recruited, the quarterback Ty Simpson. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on August 30th.
Yeah. We have a question from the Peterman gang. It says, JP, can you ask Pat about DJU's dad blaming the Knoll coaches, especially since he looks like a new quarterback in the NFL preseason? How improved is the new offensive staff?
Well, listen, this is nothing against Alex Atkins or Ron Dugans. They're good guys. They're good football coaches. But listen, Herb Hand, I think, is an upgrade on the offensive line. He's an old, hard-nosed, old-school coach. I spent 10 minutes with him at the media luncheon 2 weeks ago, and I felt like I was talking to an offensive line coach. I mean, it was refreshing the way he's honest and open about confrontational leadership. And I don't want to get next to the rabbit hole. We can get into if you want to, but basically talking about the fact that the new center Pettibon's not afraid to get in somebody's face, and that kind of honesty,
some accountability.
Yeah. I certainly think that they upgraded at both those spots. And listen, Gus is over the course of the last 15, 20 years, one of the premier play callers in college football. Now his offense isn't overly complicated. That he gets good at something and he does it over and over again.
I
think
love that too.
So I think I like that. So do I think the staff got better? Yes, I think they needed a new voice on defense. I like Tony White's energy. I like the fact that he was a successful player, and he is certainly holding people accountable. DJU, listen, it's always somebody else's fault. Now I will say this: he's got a helicopter parent. He and Deion Sanders might be the biggest helicopter fathers in college and pro football history. I don't think there was a reason to retweet what he tweeted and have sour grapes. Listen, was it all on DJU last year? Hell no. No quarterback on that roster had success because of what they were playing behind. He should look better. And hey, I'll say this: he's in much better shape than he was last year. So money talks, and but yeah, I mean, $30 million ring. The girl said yes, right?
Money talks. Gonna say no.
That's right.
She ain't gonna say no.
Yeah. So listen, I think yes. Do I think the staff is upgraded? Yes. Do I think
100%?
Do I think DJU's father has sour grapes? Yes. But somebody sent me a text on, I guess what day they play, Saturday. I got a text on Saturday. Did you see DJU just throw a touchdown? I was like, of course he threw a touchdown.
It helps when the receivers catch the ball too, which
is
he's not, we had last year.
And he's not flat on his back. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So anyway,
all right. Before you go, and I don't know how much you know about this. Actually, intern Danny is a sophomore at FSU. Emily, of course, was just at FSU. The student tickets deal. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not. Please give me the skinny
what is it,
on the
Emily?
student.
The students, you can now pay like $250 and you are guaranteed a spot in the student section for all 7 home games. And then I guess the rest would go to the lottery. But I mean, if I'm a student, I'm grabbing that $250 ticket because those are going to go.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would think, and they usually have 15,000. They used to giveaway tickets. It came, well, not giveaway. I think it was 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard Mike say.
Basically, you circumvent the student lottery by paying $250, which will go into the FSU's NIL fund. It's an NIL tax, is what it is.
Right.
That's all it is. Listen, do I think that's whatever? I listen. Make them buy season. Make them be boosters, student boosters, like you do everybody else. I think that if you're a student, you ought to have access to the lottery. I don't think you listen. Now it's a money game, right? You got people that come from very wealthy families that are students that can afford that to drop that $250 like it's nothing, and then you got people that are working 2 or 3 jobs to put themselves in college, and they might have a Saturday off. So no, I'm against it. I know why they're doing it. If they're raising more money, they gotta pay for that damn building and the stadium expansion, and they got to figure out a way to keep Osman Kroma on the roster after this season. So yeah. But no, I'm against it. I would not have liked it if I was a student when I was a student at Florida State. Of course, I didn't need a ticket, so
no.
I was on the sideline. But anyway, So no, I'm not. I hate that for the students that can't afford it. I get the rhyme and reason behind it, but I hate it for guys. Listen, I worked 2 jobs when I was
pricing out the man. Yeah, listen, it's welcome to. Welcome to new college football. It's all money driven and it has to come from the fans.
That's right.
And now from the students as well. That kind of
I just hope it's the reality. I just hope they show up. I hope they show up.
If they pay for it, they will.
Well,
that's a whole nother deal.
Maybe they weren't showing up last year, so they're trying to make people come to games.
Get some skin in the game.
Well, Emily, there was a consistent theme of people not showing up last year.
There's a reason for that. Listen, they go 2-10 again. They ain't going to sell the 250 tickets. I got news for you. So get them, but you got to do it before the season starts.
Exactly.
That's
right. Let's not even talk about that because there's no way this team's going 2-10. If they go 2-10, I may never watch football again.
Yeah, me neither.
That means the only team. If they were to go 2-10, that means the only teams they're beating are the team that's got 2 different directions on it from Texas, like Northwest Southwestern State University from East Texas.
Commerce.
And then you got Kent State, the Flashes, the worst team in Group of 5 last year. That means if you go 2-10, those are listen. I've told you, I think they got 7 wins in them. How about
I'm gonna say-
Emily?
I'm
What
gonna say 8.
Emily? I want to ask Emily. How many wins? You've been around the program for a while now. Have you broke down the schedule? What do you think?
I have broke down the schedule. There's 4 games that I'm okay with losing, and those first 2, of course, are Clemson and Alabama. And I
Right.
don't want to put the other 2 into the conversation because there are Florida State fans who say if we beat Florida, that's a good season. I'm not one of those people. I do want to beat Florida, but Florida and Miami, obviously, 2 games that if you drop them, it's not the end of the world. And 4 losses, that's a really big step in the right direction. So I'm okay with that. But I'm also not trying to get my hopes up with anything at all. So trying to set my expectations a little bit low, but as a fan, it's really hard not to want your team to do well. So
Well, of course. So you've got to push in 7 or 8, basically.
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
that's what I would like. That's kind of best case scenario for me.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm going 8. I'm going 8 wins. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. But,
Shane had 8 the other day, so you guys all 3 are on the 8 train.
You're typically more negative, Pat, but you were right last year. That's for damn sure.
I am scarred from last year.
We all are.
Oh.
We all are. I mean, how could you not be?
I mean, I've got some serious PTSD from.
I flew 5,000 miles for that crap.
Hey, I remember telling people, listen, temper your expectations. There's some issues on this team. I thought issues meant 7 and 5, 8 and 4 issues, not freaking 2 and 10. They made all of us look stupid. So anyway,
Now listen,
yeah.
I always go back to this. Nick Saban sat on that desk in Dublin and said Florida State was a playoff team and had the best defensive line in college football. That's Nick freaking Saban. So if he's going to say that, then our predictions.
I don't feel as bad about my misevaluation now that Nick's in that boat.
Exactly. All right,
Nice.
Pat.
Yeah.
Tell
All
the
right,
folks
so,
about the podcast, when we can find it, when you're on.
Yeah, in 17 minutes, we are dropping our latest podcast. We taped with Jason Staples from Inside Carolina. Jason was a football player at Florida State in the early 2000s, so we're going to get his quick take on the Florida State 2025 team and what he thinks Mike Norvell needs to do this year. We asked him if there's a magic number for Mike. We also talked to him in depth about North Carolina and Bill Belichick. He does cover North Carolina for Inside Carolina on 3 Network, and Jason's very entertaining. It was a funny podcast, an informative podcast, but it drops live at 12 o'clock on JP's channel. So
cannot wait.
It'll follow JP's show.
Can't wait to hear Belichick say, "Moving on, Duke."
I would like to hire Bill Belichick as my relationship guru.
I wonder how big Jordan's ring is going to be. Does she already have a ring? No, they're not married yet, or they're not even engaged. Well, it certainly won't be Ronaldo size. I think
they just need to go. I think they just need to go Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell style.
Why not? I'm all for it. All right, partner. Great stuff. Talk to you next
week. All right, guys.
Week.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. See you in 17 minutes, actually. Watch that. All right. We'll do another quick break. We'll come back on the other side and wrap things up here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by don'tgouncovered.com. If you don't have health insurance, that's a really bad idea because you can go bankrupt. Just one little broken bone cost you a lot of money. Our healthcare system is in complete disarray, but you got to have health insurance. So go to don'tgouncovered.com. They can find you a subsidy or find you a better plan or a cheaper plan. So just find out. It's free call. Don'tgouncovered.com is the website. I've used them for 5 years. They always come up with something good each and every year. And it's coming up about that time, open enrollment. So check it out. Don'tgouncovered.com and see if they can get you a better health insurance deal. All right, let's get to a few more of your wonderful comments. Intern Emily is here with me. Intern Danny is here as well. Tim is out on his way to Columbus to open up our new studio up there. Everybody asking about the new name, Benchmark International. Do I like the new name? I mean, it's a name. Benchmark International sounds very regal. Sure. I work at Benchmark International Arena, so I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. James says, by the way, can't read this. Okay, I'm beating this into the ground, but Norvell going 2-10, but how much damage did that do to the program? It's 1 year. It's 1 year, bro. And if you got to, if you come back and do that again, you got to move on in some way, find a way to charge the students more money and pay Norvell's contract off. But it's the same guy that took you to 10 wins and 13 wins with a really crappy coaching staff around him. So he's got some good stuff. And I've talked to too many people who believe in him that I believe in. Last year was just a really bad year. I think the snub just took a toll on him and the program that was really unforeseen. And that's not his fault. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is his fault. You got to, just like you tell your players, you got to bounce back. You got to bounce back. Emily, you were around the program when the snub happened and knew, a lot of the players. Did it mentally take a toll on them in a way that maybe we just don't understand?
I don't think you can argue that it wouldn't take a toll. I mean, these are human beings. It obviously took a toll. Now, 2-10, whether that damaged the program, I don't think that's true at all. I think just by looking at how much money athletics has invested in Mike Norvell and completely ripping a coaching staff, and you have a new offensive coordinator, you have a new defensive coordinator, from top to bottom, they have invested in Coach Norvell, and I don't think the program is damaged. I think as far as the snub goes, yeah, you saw a little bit of backlash from that last year.
Yeah,
you
recruiting.
Told a team that wins don't matter. I mean, it's tough, but it's time to move on. So we'll see.
Well past time to move on. Q's 41, haven't seen you in here, said, hey guys, fun to be a Q's Buck fan right now. Hate FSU though. Yeah, I get that. Syracuse has had some success. They got a great coach. Obviously you're a Sean Tucker fan with that Q's 44. I love me some Sean Tucker, and I wish we got to find him some carries. Maybe, not that I want to see Rashad get less carries or Bucky get less carries, but Sean Tucker is phenomenal. And look, when as the season goes on, there's going to be injuries. There's already an injury to Rashad White. So yeah, it's gonna be he'll get his touches this year, I believe. More right, Rudder says if the snub took a toll, we're about to see what a toll 2-10 takes. Yeah, it's I know we talked a lot Florida State. It's unknown. It's just such an unknown. Leadership makes a big difference. They've got, 34 new players on this team. As bad as the roster went from good to bad, it can go from bad to good. I think some of these incoming players are going to make a huge difference. And hopefully already Castellanos from a leadership standpoint, but I just don't know how good he is. I think the floor of this team is 6 wins. I think the ceiling's probably 9. So somewhere in there, 8 win, but it sucks to say, 8 wins is, that's okay. That's what we're looking forward to. Like, that's just not okay. And with that, with the stuff that they just put into this stadium, the amount of money, they better freaking step up. So I've been promising that we'd hear from Chase McLaughlin and Riley Dixon, our 2 specialists, for 2 days now. So I wanted to play a little bit of the sound we got from the kickers the other day because I thought it was kind of interesting. So here's a little Chase McLaughlin and Riley Dixon for you, and we'll narrate it as we go through.
Yeah, it's been great getting to know Riley, and then just from a football perspective, he's a true professional. He's done it for 10 years now, so he knows the ins and outs and the nuances of day-to-days. So I just think that the confidence that brings me of someone who's done it before, it gives me a little bit of peace.
What's your
It's also its holder.
going into this season? Is it kind of routine as always? Do you mix things up? How do you go about it?
I'm very routine based. T-Mac will tell you all about it. I do the same warm up every time I kick, same stretching routine every time I kick. There's been a couple things I've played with in the off season, but honestly we've had some success the last couple of seasons, so try to keep everything the same.
What's your mental routine? Take us through it. It doesn't change on pressure kicks or
His mental routine, kick the kick.
No, I mean it's the same routine every single time. Take 3 steps back, pick a target, take some steps over, take a deep breath, and let it ride.
Yeah, coaches saying you do before you go on.
No, T-Mac's one of the best coaches I've ever had. He's there. He knows certain things that he can look for to help me out. But other than that, he just kind of lets me fill it out and lets me do my own thing, and it's been working so far.
Coach Bowles has previously mentioned that
There's Chase McLaughlin. I'm trying to get to this Coach Bowles soundbite. See if we got it here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and set the record straight on that one. He starts it.
His relationship with Todd
Sometimes I
Bowles.
finish it, but
Trash talking.
yeah, we have a good relationship going. I tell him usually how it goes is we're passing in the hallway. I tell him a dad joke. He rolls his eyes and keeps on walking. So that's usually how it goes.
What's your go-to dad joke?
My go-to
His
dad
go-to
joke.
dad joke.
Right now it's not really a joke, unfortunately. I heard last week the guy who created the heat index, he actually passed away last Thursday, I believe it was. Pretty sad. They said he was 73, but he felt like he was 95. So
Nicely done. Nicely done. See how he set that one up? Yeah, it was very well. That was clever delivery. Well done, Chase. As a dad joke teller myself, that was very well done. Here's our new punter, Riley Dixon, who, thank God he is here because, boy, it was bad last year.
Just understanding the position and the role that I'm in. It's something we all punting, you want to be perfect. It's near impossible to be perfect. I mean, you could always look at a football field and say there's more yards to be had. If you don't put every ball out at the one, then there's room to gain. It's learning that's what's realistic and what's not, and allowing yourself a little bit, not slack, but a little bit of understanding of what's good and what's acceptable. Never too high, never too low. Just always staying somewhere in the middle and putting your best foot forward.
Jason, become one of the most active game. I imagine, anytime you come in, you got to hold your back and all of that. Yeah. What are you taking from him that you guys as a team?
Chase is awesome, and I know I'm going to keep feeding this, but unbelievable player, but a better person, and being able to go to work and learn and work with somebody like him he makes everybody around him better, and it's been pretty seamless so far, and I expect it to be the same. But going to work with a guy like him makes my job easy.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
There's Riley Dixon, our new punter, and last year had a big fake in the playoffs against the Bills, so he can throw the football as well. I can't remember when the last time we called a fake. Oh, I do remember the last time we called a fake punt. The last time we called a fake punt, Chase Edmonds was the personal protector, and he was supposed to execute it, and he completely effed it up. And after the game, we kind of surrounded him in the locker room, and I had my camera out, and so it wasn't me, but some of the other guys kind of he was trying to get out of the locker room, and we kind of surrounded him to make him talk about it, and it was just kind of a weird vibe, and it got I don't know, 1 million plus views because it was confrontational. It was like we wouldn't let him leave. It was really weird. But yeah, that was the last time I think we called a fake punt. And it was a disaster. I will say this, the new special teams coach is awesome. T-Mac, special teams have been terrible outside of kicking. But Chase McLaughlin, Danny sent me these stats the other day, 59 of 63. He's missed 4 field goals in 2 years. 4 field goals. And so many of them have been over 50 yards. And he's freaking automatic from over 50. He's such a weapon, which is why you got to go for it on 4th down. If you get him in field goal range, and he's going to hit it every time. And then, you also say, if you've got a 50-yard field goal lined up, it's almost automatic. So you don't want to go for it on 4th down sometimes. So I get that part of it for Todd Bowles, but I think he's going to be even more aggressive this year. So we'll see. But they've got a great kicking duo. And I'd say watching Riley Dixon in practice, that dude freaking booms it. I love watching good punters, especially in the games. All right, Emily, thanks so much for jumping in. Intern Danny, thank you very much as well. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back tomorrow. I believe Tim is going to join us from the Columbus studio. So there he is. We miss you, Timmy. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you guys as well.